This teacher's talking about how Jesus is the best and whatever.
Totes the best.
Toast my goats. And I hear like a rustling in the closet.
Russell.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Rated E for everything. You're here with Rated E for everything.
The podcast where we talk a little about a lot.
Today we're going to be discussing ghosts.
Ooh.
Oh, did you guys plan that? That was cute.
Not at all.
Today we have a guest back. This is Cameron. He was on the
Hello.
conspiracy episode. Welcome back.
I'm not entirely crazy. I am back, however.
We're having you talk about conspiracies and ghosts, so it's not really helping your crazy case.
Yeah, well, we'll see where it goes.
So we were trying to think of it. Well, Crazy Cameron, then. There we go. There's his nickname.
Well, you know, I've been trying to get a nickname for a while. It's not quite the one I wanted.
Yeah, that's not really a great
Turns
one.
out it's harder than you'd think to get a nickname. Yeah,
At some point, Cameron tried to get everyone to call him Scorpion. So
I
that
was
fun.
7.
Yeah, well, it came back last year.
That's badass, man.
Yeah. I thought so. I still think so.
All right, Cameron and I, last time he was here, we played the Cammy game and got it on round 2. So I'm going to let Carl and Cameron try, and maybe you guys will do just as good. Who knows? You guys got a word in mind?
I'm really sorry for if this goes super badly.
Well, we'll see.
All right, I'm going to count you down. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Boat.
Table.
Boat and table.
I'm ready. I know the answer. I know you know the answer too. You ready? Count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Carpentry.
Where do you go from there, though? Man. All right, let's try it.
Okay.
That's tough. It's so specific already.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Building.
Hammer. No, we went in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Building and
where do
hammer.
we go from here?
I didn't mean like a building. I meant
Alright.
like building as in like creating something.
Building hammer. All right, we got one more chance.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
All right, last try. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Construction.
Yes.
That's it right there, baby. Awesome.
That's great, Cameron.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're just good at this.
I
'cause
guess so,
We
yeah.
don't get it when you're not here.
All right, I'll take it.
It's actually kind of pathetic sometimes because we get so close and then it's like.
Well, no, I was totally getting that sense of hopelessness. Like, there's no way.
I'm impressed. I wouldn't have gone there.
Construction?
I was thinking nail.
that was the alternative. Yeah,
You said a hammer and building, and I was like, well, you gotta put a nail in it.
gotta construct it.
You got to nail it, you know?
You just gotta really get in there.
We
and
did nail it, Carl.
Exactly. Ghosts. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that they exist?
Ooh,
I think you'd be silly not to think they exist.
I think so.
There's too many instances. It's like, is everyone making it up?
I don't maybe subscribe to a particular religion, but what I do subscribe to is energies. I think there's definitely energies out there, and maybe that's what you call your ghost.
I like that. I really like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought of it like that.
No.
Now, what instances do you both mean?
Like instances of what we think a ghost is, or
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't think it's your typical, ooh, I'm a scary ghost,
white sheet, yeah.
Exactly. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's more of, like Cameron said, an energy or a feeling or just a presence. And it doesn't necessarily need a form to exist, I believe.
Sure, I like that.
What's your thought of a ghost, Cam?
I think there's degrees of it, and I think it goes right in with what you were saying. There's some ghosts that will just give you a little hint, a little taste that they're there, right down to the full. Like I straight up seen one. You know, it was in front of me, and I wish that I didn't, because then I wouldn't be the guy that says, "Oh yeah, I straight up saw a ghost."
right.
But it did, and I am.
So, like, what types of ghosts do you guys think there are? I mean, you said there are varying degrees. Give me some examples.
Well, I think there's, what you would call typical haven't crossed over ghost. There is like a being
Unfinished business, Casper's parents type deal.
right. Like there's some that just are attached to something here and not ready to leave. And I don't think those are necessarily very visible or noticeable as much as there would be other types. I think there's malignant ghost, or what you would call, I guess, poltergeist, or even to say demons to some people.
Sure.
I think the more intense their feelings are, the more likely they are to take like a physical form.
All right. Maybe do you think that physical form just comes from the amount of energy they're putting in, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the more time that they have here, that they shouldn't be here, the more likely they will manifest into something that you would call a ghost, and something more scary. The more negative energy they have, the scarier they appear.
Okay, makes sense. So the more severe, the worse they've had it, the worse they're gonna portray it onto the witness.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's interesting. I couldn't say that I've really thought about this a lot. I guess is odd to me because you guys seem to know a lot about these things, and I don't. I guess maybe it's just because I've never really had an experience, maybe like you guys have. And,
well, we're both just plain old super weird.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that necessarily. I think it's interesting that you guys have these experiences, that you seem to know a lot about these things, and maybe I'm the weird one for not, because I feel like a lot of people have had these experiences. My girlfriend is a hard believer in ghosts and the supernatural and stuff like that. So I think it's cool that you guys believe in that stuff.
So, because you haven't had an experience with it, do you take the stance that you don't believe it's real, or do you just think you've never seen anything?
I think it's just that I've never really seen anything. I'd like to think. I'm sure there is. I don't doubt it, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. It's sort of it's ambiguous to me. I don't know enough about it to have a real opinion, I guess I could say.
Right. I think from the time I was little, I kind of was immersed in it, because I've had stories from our mom where she says I was 4 or 5 years old trying to explain people from the 1800s
I remember this.
Yeah, to her, that I saw upstairs. Yeah. And there's no reason I would have known those things. I tried to describe like a buggy, like that you'd put a baby in, and this lady wearing a bonnet. I didn't know what those things were. So I think from a young age, it was kind of just one of those things that happened to me.
There definitely tends to be a sort of correlation between children and being able to peek under that other side of the veil. I know one of my good friends, his kid, he's about 5 now, but 2 or 3 years ago, his parents were real concerned because he was always talking to the people.
Oh gosh.
The people that share their apartment with them.
I would like to just say, if you're a parent, listen to your kid.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they have imaginations, but if they're nagging you about something, it's because it's real to them. They know it's there. Listen to your kid.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Sixth Sense, maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So, I guess, like I said, we'll get into it. You guys can share some stories and like some experiences you've had in depth, maybe that'll, I guess, not necessarily convince me, but like show me the way, I guess I could say.
Show me the way.
All right, I got a nice easy one. We'll take it slow, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this was New Year's Day of 2010. I'm gonna say, give or take a year, and I am super hungover because it's New Year's Day. I'm trying to catch a nap in my room, and I'm an angsty teenager at this point, so.
No, you're not. You hungover, so you definitely weren't a teenager, Cameron.
Of course, you're right. I was of legal
consumption age.
Yes, absolutely.
He was very mistaken.
Yes,
on the year
How
too.
silly of me. Yes. So, because I'm an angsty human at this point in my life, of course I have a pair of nunchucka hanging from my ceiling fan, right?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, because what else are you gonna do? Well, I'm trying to catch this nap, but I keep getting interrupted because the nunchucks on the ceiling fan are clattering like hell. To the point where I'm so mad that I throw a pillow, I sit right up in bed, and I go, Chanel, if you don't stop, I'm gonna kill you.
It wasn't me.
Chanel wasn't there. Not even close. The nunchucks were swaying, though. And that was my first little taste where, I was creeped the fuck out.
I would like to clarify that the fan was not on.
The fan was not on. Fan didn't function.
All right.
This is, of course, in the second story bedroom of our childhood home where Chanel also had her experiences.
Yeah, quite a few, which I don't particularly remember. But my mom tells me all the time, and she'll say to this day, like, there was something. You were telling me something.
I remember it happening all the time.
I don't really remember talking about it, which I don't know if is better or worse, honestly.
Yeah, that's odd for sure that you don't remember those things.
Yeah, right. You think that'd be very stuck in my mind because it was so out of place. But
Yeah.
I remember more the story than actually remembering. In that same upstairs, I'm sure you remember this, Cameron. I was in my room. It's a tiny room, and I have a closet that's kind of sunken into a wall. Yeah, and so my bed is on the opposite side of the closet. So in order to get in or out of my room, you have to walk past the closet. So I'm sitting on my bed, I don't know, minding my own business, doing whatever, and I hear this rustling in my closet, and there's no one in there. There's no one upstairs with me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe I moved and like hit the wall. It's fine. And then I hear a straight up grunt, like a man's grunt.
Like,
Yeah.
oh God.
And I swear to you, it sounded like this man fell over, hit the closet wall, and grunted. And I was petrified, like terrified.
Holy shit,
Yes.
that's really creepy, actually.
So my first thought was not ghost. My first thought was
Intruder.
there's someone in my closet.
Well, yeah.
So I call Cody, our other brother, who's downstairs, and I'm calling him on the phone. I'm calling him. He won't pick up. I know he has a friend over, so I call his friend, and he answers, and he goes, "Hey, Cody's busy right now. I'll have him call you back," and hangs up. And I'm
This is
sobbing. It was Joe.
Okay.
Maybe I'll cut the last name. It was Joe.
Just bleep it so that it sounds cool.
Yeah. So he hangs up, and I'm desperate. I'm crying because I know there is someone in my closet. I'm just bawling my eyes out.
Okay.
So I call Cameron, who I don't even know if he was home at the time.
No, I remember getting home, and this was the first thing that had to be dealt with.
I called him, and I was like, please come upstairs. There is someone in my room. And from the time it took for him to get that call and get upstairs, there was another huge thud on this wall that connected to my closet, and I'm frozen. There's someone in my closet that's hitting the wall, and he's going to come out. And he hit the wall so hard that I knew it wasn't like in my imagination because I had a frame hanging on that wall, and it fell off.
How old were you when this was happening? Do you know?
Old enough to have a cell phone.
I think
yeah.
probably 12 or 13.
Okay, that's what I was assuming, but I just wanted to like clarify. That's really creepy already, and you haven't even finished the story yet.
Yeah. Cameron comes upstairs because I'm way too afraid to cross the door. Like, because I didn't want to walk past the closet if this man was in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of line of sight deal.
Yeah. So Cameron comes upstairs, and it was nice enough of him because at the time we weren't exactly friendly.
Friends.
Yeah, we weren't exactly friendly. So it was nice enough for him that he even came and checked. And he did like a sweep through my clothes.
Cursory glance.
Yeah, he just swept through, looked.
Now,
like-
all right, but it should be noted at this point that in the style of house that we lived in, on the top floor it had an A-frame peak, and the lower corners of the outside of the A-frame were, I guess, what you would call a crawl space.
Right.
So
yeah.
there's plenty of space potentially to be creeping around in.
Yeah, and so Cameron like sifts through the closet very superficially, you know. And he's like, "You're fine. There's no one in there." And I'm like, "No, there's something. Like, I know that there is something or someone in there, Cameron. Like, please stay here or whatever." And he just walks out. And I was like, I should have gone with him at the time, but I was so scared to move. And he just leaves. And I'm just sobbing because I'm so afraid.
Mhm.
And then there is another huge smack, like this thing smacked the fucking wall as hard as they could, and I
Yeah.
just booked it downstairs and just stayed with my mom, and I cried so long.
And we did no further investigating, which in retrospect is a really bad idea. There was probably a burglar.
That was going to be
It's
my
just
next
a good
question.
thing we didn't have anything to steal.
Was what happened after that? So now that you said that, how, like, was there a reason that you guys didn't look into it more, or just you didn't really?
They were assholes.
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't really buy our story that much.
Yeah, and I cried, and I slept downstairs for probably a week,
Yeah.
and I
This
had
is,
many
you know,
times.
this is not the first time that somebody ignored Chanel's cries for help because there's an intruder around.
Oh,
You want to talk about
my
that
God.
one?
Okay, so this one I definitely think was supernatural, the one in my room, because my mom went up the next day and checked everything out.
And there's no evidence of a break-in or anything
There's
like
nothing. So that one I definitely think was supernatural. However, a different story. We'll dive in really quick. I was at CCD. I was probably in first or second grade. CCD is like a Catholic school that you go to once a week. I'm there. I don't know how old I am. Probably 7, 6, maybe. I don't know. I'm young. And I'm sitting in a desk, and this teacher's talking about how Jesus is the best and whatever.
Totes the best.
Toast my goats. And I hear like a rustling in the closet.
Russell.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. And I like look over and I'm like, well, that was weird. It's an old building, whatever. And I'm young, so I'm like, things happen. And then I hear it again, but louder. And I'm like, there's something in there. And then it gets louder, and the kid next to me looks. So I know I'm not making this up. So I raise my hand, and I'm like, excuse me, I think there's something in the closet. And this person goes, I'm teaching right now. I need you to be quiet. Focus. And I'm like,
Mind you, these CCD teachers were all volunteer and like in no way qualified to be watching children
Right.
or educating anybody.
Yeah, from my experience, I would say that that's fairly accurate from my CCD time.
yeah. So I'm trying to be, right by Jesus or whatever. And so I shut the heck up. And then it happens again. And I'm like, no, raise my hand again. I get yelled at. Legitimately yelled at. And I was like,
Shot down.
fine. You know what? Fine. The person in the closet can just live there. Fine. And lo and behold, about 5 minutes later, a homeless man kicks the door open, barges out, and runs out of the building.
That's fucking insane. Did you get an apology from the asshole teacher?
No
No.
investigation was launched or anything like that.
They called my mom. They said that we're going to have the cops come check it out. And then she followed up with the cops about an hour later, and they had heard nothing of it.
So,
Are you telling me the Catholics covered something up?
No.
conspiracy part 2. Part 2.
Part two.
Part 2. Part 2. Religion.
Yeah, right? I mean, we won't. Never mind.
We
I won't
shouldn't.
touch it. Yeah. But, so yeah, this CCD place had a homeless man living in the closet. There was like food in there. So he'd been there a while, and no one believed me.
I wish I could show the viewers the look on my face right now, because I could just imagine this man kicking the doors down to the closet and your teacher being like, hey, Larry, how's it going? And then just being like, and then like sprinting out of the classroom. And all the kids are
nobody
like,
did
what
anything.
the fuck is
No one did
happening?
anything. This lady had a look on her face where I thought she was going to pass out where she was, because she was so shocked that there was actually a person
There's a
in the
person
closet
there. Yeah.
that listen to the kids, damn it. Listen to them.
Yeah. There it is.
I can't. That's actually so terrible.
It was horrible.
How are you not more traumatized by that?
Oh, it fucked her up for a while.
I am so afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
I think that there's always someone with me, like, that shouldn't be there.
I always feel
people.
like somebody's watching me.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, that happened. Not a ghost story, but that happened.
A weird story for sure.
Oh yeah.
If we want to get weird, I can get weird. I'm down for that.
Right? All right, Cameron, I know you have another. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one. This one actually like changed me as a person. It was bad.
Holy shit.
All right, so I got a real good friend. His name's Joe. I got a real good friend. His name's Keith. Right? We're all cruising around because we're high school kids, and that's what we do. We cruise around and cause trouble, right? We
course.
heard about Bachelor's Grove Cemetery out in Midlothian.
Oh,
You've heard?
I've been there actually.
Yeah. All right. So you know the history and all.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
How'd you feel about the place?
You know, it was weird. I can't really say that I felt anything strange, although I feel like you're about to debunk me. But again, my girlfriend said that her mom and sister have been there and saw like satanic shit going down, some weird rituals, like dead cats that were like maliciously like murdered on purpose. When I was there, I mean, I didn't get any eerie feelings, but I wouldn't say that's also accurate either, because I definitely felt uncomfortable being there.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it is a cemetery to begin with.
Yeah,
And it
Yes.
is also a place you're not supposed to be in.
I was also going to add, for the people that don't know, Bachelor's Grove is a place somewhere near us that is notorious for cult action and activity
Also
and
paranormal stuff. If you look up
Paranormal.
your top 10 paranormal places, you might find Bachelor's Grove on that list.
yeah, and so it's known for ghosts, it's known for cults, it's known for a place where many dead bodies were dumped to cover things up.
Via Al Capone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he was one of his
Mass
stomping
graves.
grounds.
Yeah, and it's also a cemetery, a very old cemetery. Please continue.
Pre-Civil War cemetery. Okay, so got my friend Keith, my friend Joe. We're cruising around. We're punk kids. We're looking for something to do. We've heard about this Bachelor's Grove place. Well, I heard about it because I've always been weird and always been reading into stuff like that, right? So I figure that we should go check it out. Joe decides at this point in time, well, he doesn't want to get a parking ticket, so he's not going to go into the haunted cemetery with us. He's going to keep the car moving while we go check it out. So Joe really bitches out there.
Yeah.
Makes me real uncomfy.
Yeah. And when you go into Bachelor's Grove, there's at least, I'm going to say it's about a half mile of what used to be the old Midlothian Turnpike Road. It's no longer a road. It's chained off. It's guarded off. You have to walk down this place. It's real weird. It's got arching trees that are all
Yeah.
dead that go over it and everything.
It really hits all the creepy
It
vibes.
really
Yeah,
does,
for
it
sure.
really
You have
does.
to cross the do not cross line and everything. So Keith and I are walking down this road about 5-10 minutes, right? We're on the phone with Joe. We're trying to coordinate how long we're going to be in there and where we're going to meet Joe to pick us up afterwards, right? And as we're doing this, we can see the gates coming up. It's about 9 o'clock. It's dark, you know.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Is this is happening at nighttime? I'm
Yeah,
sure,
and,
right?
and you're definitely not supposed to be in there at
Yeah.
night. They will arrest you. So we're on the phone with Joe. All of a sudden, you got white static noise in the phone. Not like a call just dropped, just white static noise. Can't talk to Joe anymore. Okay, that's spooky. And
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that
That's
in
real
itself,
weird.
I would have noped the hell out
Yeah,
of
I
it.
would be like, yeah, all right, we're gonna go back.
Yeah, no, not worth it.
it was pretty like picture perfect. So we walk maybe another minute or two more. Now we're coming up to, the big wrought iron gate.
Yep.
You take the right turn, you're in the actual cemetery portion.
Yes, I do.
Maybe we're 80 yards from that gate,
Okay.
right? And now, mind you, neither of us have been there before. We've just seen the pictures. We Googled real quick before on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that's the gate, but that's about it. We're walking up to it. We're a little spooked out because the phone call thing, but we're over it. We're 17-year-old kids. We're fucking invincible.
Exactly.
Now we're inside 30 yards, right? And to the far side of the gate, there's what I would a stump, right? A stump next to some tombstones.
Oh,
on
I've
the
heard about
outside.
this. Yeah.
You've heard about it.
Well, not like I've heard about like the stump. Is this the one that if you like sit on it, you're gonna die? Or
I'm
something
not
like that?
sure. We never got fucking close to that
Okay,
stump.
fair enough.
So on this stump, I start to see what I perceive as a set of eyes looking at me. And I'm talking glowing eyes, straight out of the fucking horror movie.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself the whole time, well, Keith's not going to go for this. I don't want to be the bitch here. So we keep walking another 5 steps, another 10 steps. And then Keith all of a sudden goes, hey, bro, you see that over there? Yeah, Keith, I see that. We both boldly take about another 3 steps, and then I still see that. How about you? And we're both looking at this set of eyes, and it's bobbing back and forth a little bit left to right,
Scary.
as in kind of just letting you know
I see you.
you're checking me out. I'm checking you out too.
Oh my God.
We take about another 10 steps towards it, right? Now, at this point, we are 30 feet maybe from it, and it's not gone anywhere. It has no shape. It's just these eyes that are maybe a bit of a shroud, I'd say, around it, but no
No form.
no
form.
form. Yeah, nothing concrete, nothing that would seem physical,
Right.
except those fucking eyes looking right back at us. I tried to take one more step. I said, hell no.
Your body was
that's
like,
still there. If it was a dog, I wouldn't get any closer, you know?
Yeah.
We fucking hightailed out of there. The phone started working. By the time we got to the road, we met Joe. We got the fuck out of there. I went home. I almost literally cried to my mom about it.
Oh my God, man. That's like,
And it wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't like a glance out of the corner of my eye or a real quick.
You stared that
Gotcha.
motherfudger
I
down.
looked at it and I saw it looking back at me.
and your friend saw it
and my
too.
friend saw it too, and I was trying to be the tough guy and be, just walk right by, ignore it, and he brought up the thing that I was looking at, real fucking worried about.
So, oh my, I honestly like don't have words. And if this was on video, you would see me visibly squirming while he was telling the story because I was like,
his arms up.
I feel like I was there. Like that's so eerie. That is really freaking spooky.
Like I
man.
said, things were different after that. Like
I'll
I
tell you.
tried to make this thing go away out of the corner of my eye, and it didn't.
I'll tell you my experience at Bachelor's Grove. I got to the cemetery, walked around a little. It was fine. I walked a little further into the woods, and I could not breathe. I was gasping for air, and I
That's
left.
creepy.
I left.
Yeah, that's really strange. I could say so. I think my girlfriend and I and her other friend and her friend's boyfriend, we all went, and I'd say it's about midday, so it's like 4:00. Now, nothing was like super spooky, but as my girlfriend continued to tell me stories about this place, I kept getting a weird feeling like I was in some place that I wasn't supposed to be. And maybe it was just me being paranoid, but I was in there and I was like, some shit's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair. And then she was telling me, I don't know if it was the same stump that you were looking at, but she was like, that stump over there has a weird legend about it. And it is that if you sit on it or like touch it or get near it, you're going to die. And not as soon as you touch it, but relatively
Real
soon
close
after.
Well, I'm glad that little being was sitting on that
That's what
because
I'm
I
saying.
wasn't about to get anywhere close
That's
to
what
that.
I'm saying. My next question to you was, do you think maybe that thing was trying to scare you away from Death Stump?
Maybe. Well, I mean, if you get into the Bachelor's Grove legend, there is a little girl who died under some terrible conditions, buried there, and apparently they've got photographs of full body apparitions of this little girl sitting on some stumps and some short headstones and some things like that.
So maybe she was trying to save you.
Maybe she did.
She was creeping the shit out of you so that you'd leave.
Well, she scarred me for life. Yeah,
Hey, but you're alive.
I am
Exactly.
alive. Yeah.
And when we were in there, these headstones that are old, like old as shit,
1800s
have
and earlier.
like stuff put in front of them. And by that, I mean like little beanie bear teddy bears and little
Creepy,
trinkets
creepy
and
things.
treasures. And
Well,
I've watched Supernatural, the TV show, that I know shit like
Great
that
show.
is
Great
real
show.
creepy, real weird.
There's some lore behind it that if you take any of those things from the grave, things will attach to you
Yeah.
and follow you home.
and apparently you're supposed to leave something
Like
for that
any-
same little girl that I was talking about earlier.
I can say that when we were there, I walked in, like, you know how there's that kind of center footpath. It's not actually a path, but it's sort of how you would walk
Yes.
down it. I would not stray from that motherfucker
Hell
at
no.
all.
Hell no.
Everybody else was like walking around and milling about and looked at the headstones, and I was like, I am a huge pussy when it comes to this stuff, so I'm really good. I'm gonna stay right here, and if we gotta book it, I'm gonna be the one to book it. Like,
Did
I don't
you
even care.
did you make it to the wells?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
Maybe not.
Okay, so if you get, I actually ended up going back there once after that, and it was
Why?
a very different
Why?
experience.
Why?
Well, we went in the day, and it was a much bigger group, and it was probably because of the hype that Keith and I had brought back with our first experience.
Yeah, I would definitely go in the daytime.
Well, it ended up being awful. We stayed into the night, and then we had to literally like army crawl through the mud to get through this portion that the cops were posted up on with their spotlights on. They knew we were in there. It ended up being a real big shit show.
Holy shit, man.
But before then, we made it all the way back into there because it was daylight. It was legal for us to be back there. And we found the wells, and these wells allegedly are the ones that Capone had constructed where they were
Mass burial
deeper
sites.
than they needed to be for a water well, and he would just go there, dump bodies in, call it a day, leave.
Man.
And then they cemented over the top, I think.
Yeah. Hundreds of bodies, they said they recovered from these wells.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far, I don't think.
Yeah. There's also like a lagoon in the cemetery
I
part.
made it to the lagoon. Yeah.
I got there and I would not take a step further. I wouldn't go near it. There was just like this feeling.
I agree with you. I had heard some things that had happened over by that lagoon, and I got up on the rocks that kind of go down to the water, and I was thinking, this is good. I'm good.
Enough. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really get far enough then, but I mean, it was daytime and didn't matter to me. We were in maybe the main, I don't know, the cemetery part with all the headstones and stuff, and
Yeah.
we didn't go any farther. Like I knew there was more, but I was not. I just didn't want to be there. It was a strange feeling, just the stories, and now especially both of you telling. It's so.
And on top of
I'm out
it,
of
it
words.
is just an old, overgrown cemetery. It's
That's
just
it,
a
yeah.
sad place to be in
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a story that I am going to go ahead.
I like this one.
I'm going to go ahead and say right now that 98% of you will not believe me. It's that.
Hey, I said let's get weird, so let's get weird.
It's weird. This is something that I still have bad dreams about. So I'm in our hometown, and I'm parked in the car waiting for a friend. So I'm facing north, waiting for this friend, and it's after dusk, so it's dark, but it's not like pitch black. It's pretty dark. And where we live, there's this huge industrial wall that blocks.
It guards a trucking facility.
Yeah. And it's probably, 12, 15 feet high?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm facing this. I'm doing nothing, minding my own business.
It's also guarded by electrical fence.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what the hell's over there.
What are they shipping?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So I'm on my phone, not really paying attention, and I look up, and I'm about a block and a half, maybe 2 blocks from this actual wall. But it's well lit. There's streetlights all over there.
Because of the high security floodlights around
Yeah.
this place.
Yeah, right.
It's a really weird place. These aren't just it's not a chain link fence. It's a concrete slab wall.
Yeah, you can't see through it. And I'm just looking, waiting, and I kid you not, I see this thing, and it crosses the street.
What's the thing?
This thing, whatever the hell it was, is maybe a foot less tall than the fence. So at least 10 feet
10
tall.
feet.
Holy shit.
I wish I had a way to visualize it for you. It's got arms where its elbow goes past its knee, and then its hands go back up. So
I know that you drew it way
Right.
back in the day. You don't still have that drawing, do you?
I don't have
because
it. But
it's the drawing that they flash to when the child is describing the monster in the horror film. It is actually something to see.
So I'm doing a bad job explaining. If you think like Slender Man, but taller, and then it's got like these gangly arms that the elbow hangs past its knee, and then like V's back up to like these.
It's like a praying mantis.
Yes, like that. Except its knees and its elbows are these giant knobs, like huge circles.
Like hinges.
Right.
I'm gonna leave the giant knob thing alone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I earned that one. You're right.
just thought I should make the serious situation a little less
very
spooky
tense in
there.
Yeah. So this thing is big enough where it takes 2 steps and it's across the street and out of my vision. So
2 steps. So we're talking it covered 100 feet in 2 steps.
yeah. And it was just massive. And the head was a little bit less than the fence, but all its other features were so long and gangly and just.
I kind of get. Now, I saw the image that you drew way
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and that creeped me out enough. I still, clear as day, remember that thing that you drew. But the image that I get from what you're describing is almost like if that thing from the 2nd season of Stranger Things had less appendages. That big motherfucker.
Yes. Oh, the mind flayer thing. It's kind of like that, except the head is not like predator shaped. You
Yeah.
know, it was like a normal oval head.
Humanoid.
Yeah, but kind of like that. The creepy long
Yeah,
appendages.
the exaggerated joints and
Yes,
things like
yeah.
that.
I'm trying to think of like the best description. I don't know if anyone has seen Miss Peregrine. Have you seen the
Negative.
new one?
I have not. No.
Okay, well, there's these creatures in that, and that kind of freaked me out when I watched it because it sort of reminded me of that. But maybe I will draw a picture again, as close as I can to the original, and I'll post it on Instagram so our listeners can kind of know what I'm talking about. But I
It'd be
realized
really awesome if we could dig up that original sketch.
I bet you I have it somewhere because
I know you do.
I wouldn't throw that out. I don't know if I'm getting the creepy across.
Yeah, I can confirm you definitely are. I have a couple questions for you. Number one, did you get a look at its face?
No, it was really dark, and it was also under these giant floodlights, so it just looked black to me.
Kind of like a silhouetted
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. And my mom was like, "Are you sure it wasn't a shadow?" And I'm like, "Yes." I can't tell you why, but I know it was a
And
thing.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the skate park that I frequented was pretty damn close to this area, this shipping facility that she's talking about, and daily there would be very strange noises coming out of this place. There would be, processions of cops and government cars going in and out of.
It's
It's
not.
a really weird place.
It says it's like a trucking company, and you hear them drop containers and stuff. It definitely is, but it's just stranger. It's just weird.
And it's very well guarded. Like I said, they have a 12-foot concrete wall with an electric fence around it. Like
Why do you
FedEx
need
don't
that?
have that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like now you gotta wonder. I mean I've been around Burbank enough, but I feel like I know where you're talking about, but I feel like
We're
I
on
would have,
77th Street.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd have to see it to really get a better picture for it. But I can imagine if this place is as weird as you say, you can just wonder like, what if something got out? You know what I mean? That's sort of what I'm picturing.
Real quick, just for a minute, just for Chanel to see it over there.
I went home and told everyone this, and they were like, "Well, that's weird." And I was like, "No, you're not understanding me. Like, it's really freaking scary."
I did believe you, Chanel, and that's why I did. When it happened, I asked you lots of questions about it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's super weird. And actually, you guys telling me all these things definitely persuading me for sure, and making me realize that I do have one less sort of creepy story. But you guys mentioned Al Capone before.
Yep.
And Willow Springs, which is notorious
Big
for being
Capone
real
town, yeah.
and also for being very supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
So
And also, cops murder their wives in Willow Springs. What?
that's just what you like to hear. So you guys know the Irish Legend, then the restaurant that's down Archer Avenue, maybe.
Yeah.
So and then the I can't remember the dance hall that was next door across the street, but that recently burned down, the Willowbrook Ballroom.
Yeah, a couple years ago, right?
Yep. So Al Capone, for those of you who don't know, would used to go dancing with his whores and such at the Willowbrook Ballroom, and then take them over to the Irish Legend via underground tunnels, and then do what he wanted with them, and
Which are all still there.
frequently, oftentimes would kill them sometimes, and
Ooh.
there's stuff there where people have
He's
seen
like a Lannister, huh?
Yeah.
and people have seen sightings of people in mirrors, girls in mirrors, scratch marks on the mirrors, stuff in the hallways, stuff like that. So for a school field trip, we decide 8th grade year to go to this place during the day and just,
Of course.
Yeah.
and so just to get the history
Public
behind it
education, ladies and gentlemen.
of Al Capone and stuff. And I'm skeptical. I mean, I'm not skeptical, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, I get a weird vibe from this place. I'm not a huge fan of it. So then we go into the basement, and they're like talking about how this is supposedly that maybe someone was buried down there. Some girl that was killed was buried down there, and there's like a crack in the cement of the floor. And as the lady's describing this, I mean, granted we were in a basement, but we also lost cell service down here, which you could explain by being in a basement. But
Adds to the creepy.
someone dropped a call, so it was like beep beep beep, and then the phone call was just over. And there was this girl who was standing a little bit away from me, maybe 3 or 4 feet, and she crosses the crack in the floor, and as soon as she did, she got a nosebleed.
Ooh.
And not like just like a little thing, like her nose was gushing blood, like they had to take her upstairs and get her napkins and stuff to help her with this nosebleed that was pretty bad.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I was immediately like, oh, maybe it's just the springtime weather and her allergies are acting up. But at the back of my mind, I couldn't get out of my head that something weird had just occurred that I had
made
witnessed.
That bitch bleed from the face.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Right?
Oh my
So,
God.
that's kind
What
of...
are you talking about? You don't have one. You totally have one.
I guess. And then actually the other one that just a weird vibe, the coffee house in Willow Springs is...
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
That was recently.
What is
Yeah.
that place called?
Ashberries.
Yeah.
Ashberries. Yeah.
I went to go rock a piss in the upstairs bathroom, and I'm turn the corner and I look at like the party hall or whatever that they have up there, and it's like checkered flooring and the light is like flickering like on and off, and it's just spooky. And I immediately turned down and I was like, I don't have to pee that bad. And I think you were actually there for it, weren't you, Chanel?
Yeah, I was. I went up there after, and I was like, "What is he talking about? I don't know." And I went up there, and I was like, "Nah, it's weird. It's definitely
Okay.
weird."
All right.
Willow Springs is an odd town to live in, given all the history of it, and also like...
Also,
It's
resurrection.
Yeah, that's what I
even
was just gonna talk
even
about.
just the cemetery there, and then just the architecture, the how old the city is, how it's laid out. It's got a spooky vibe to it,
Well, in Willow Springs, there's also Resurrection Cemetery that,
as in
Has-
Resurrection Mary.
as in Resurrection Mary, which there. I mean, we could talk about that for a long time, but that's the cemetery where she exists, and people continually, even now, see
Frequently
her.
see her,
see
for
her
decades, maybe a century.
and try and give her a ride home. And there's also the twisted bars. I don't know if you guys know about that. The twisted bars on the cemetery fence
Yeah.
that they've repaired multiple times that just happen to twist
Keep twisting.
where hands would be.
My friend's mom, he also tells me repeatedly that his house is haunted, that he was like putting dishes away one day and they were like floating or something strange like that. But he was young, and I was like a little skeptical when he was telling me this. But then he told me once that his mom was on a bike ride at night by the cemetery and that she saw like a figure of a woman standing by the fence and stuff like that. And
We got a
cemeteries just creep me out in general.
Yeah.
We got a couple that go back in the family that are pretty damn spooky too.
I have like a few more personal ones. I don't know if I'm just receptive or if I'm a psycho.
Hey, let them rip.
Yeah, just keep her going. Like I said, let's get weird.
So I was probably in 6th grade, and I was hanging out with a few friends from baseball, and we had a sleepover, and there had been a house on their block that had been unoccupied for many, many months. And so us being jerks were like, let's go see the abandoned house and break in.
This is a common theme on the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, right. People just do that.
Yeah.
And it's during the middle of the day, so we're
Yeah.
like the evening. So it's light out, it's whatever. So we go in there, and it's just a house. It's fine. It's just a house, except on the kitchen table, the only furniture in there is the kitchen table, and there's shots set up,
Oh.
like shot
Like full?
glasses. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Did
like,
you take the shot?
no. They took the cups with them though. Someone has the shot glasses. I don't remember who.
I
Well,
would not
they're
have
cursed.
done that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that's
cursed.
my thought exactly.
Right. And everyone's too afraid to go upstairs. I'm not sure why, but we were just like freaking ourselves out, being kids about it. And so I go up there, and the floor is sunken in, like the top floor.
Yeah.
So-
don't be messing around up there.
So I didn't go walk through there, but I told everyone, I was like, the floor is all sunken, weird. And then I turned right to the bedroom, and there's a butcher's knife in the wall with some paint.
Oh hell no.
Just one butcher's knife in the wall with a bunch of paint splattered. It was definitely paint, not blood.
Okay, galore.
It was red, but it was for
Of
sure.
course it was red.
It was for sure paint because there was a paint bucket. So I was like, that's weird. I'm going downstairs. And then I go downstairs, and there's a man staring through the window.
Hell no.
And I'm like, guys, we gotta fucking dip. We gotta go
Yeah,
now.
we're busted.
We're in trouble. Like, this guy's gonna call the cops. We gotta go. And everyone's like, what is your issue? And I'm like, the dude that's staring at, we gotta run. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
Oh hell no.
the guy.
Was there still a guy in the window when you like pointed to it? Like, could
I
you see him
pointed-
and they couldn't?
I pointed to him. They looked. I'm pointing to him. And I'm like, the guy in the window. And I turned back, and there's no one there.
Hell no.
And I kid you, there was 6 other people. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. I swear.
and once again, you're stood there feeling like nobody believes a word you're saying.
Exactly. And I'm not there was no part in my brain that thought this place was supernatural. I
You
just
just
thought
thought
it was a
some
house.
fucking trap house that people hung out.
Yeah, and so when I saw someone in the window, I wasn't like ghost. I was like, there's a dude and we're gonna get busted. And that's how clear as day this guy was. He just looked like a guy looking in a window, like pissed as fuck that there was kids in this house. And everyone's like, what is wrong with you?
Old man Smithers.
Yeah, right.
God, man.
I don't know what is up with me. I don't know if it's just me or bad situations. I don't know.
Well,
You got any more, Cameron?
not personally, no. There's one that goes back. It's one of the family
Oh yeah.
stories. Our grandfather Chanel and I, Pompeo Rene Flores,
Yes.
the
man.
the myth, the legend. He's all right. So dude's nearly 100 years old, right? And this is back in his early days. I want to say maybe his 30s or so. But he's living still with members of his family and all. They're on a property that's got two different buildings, you'll say. So one was like cooking, entertaining, living quarters, and then the other was just bedrooms. Here's your bed, that's where you go to sleep, right? And apparently at multiple points in time there were incidences where somebody would be walking past the we'll call it the daytime building, right? And on their way over to go call it a night or whatever, and it sounds like a goddamn commotion is going on in the daytime house. Pots flying around, glass breaking, things like this, and they'd kick the door in. They got their guns in hand, thinking there's an intruder and all, and everything is fucking hunky-dory in there. Not a thing is out of place. They just roused the whole family out of bed to come take care of this, and nothing's going on.
Can I just tell you that's not the story I thought you were gonna tell?
Oh, what were you going for?
That's weird already. So if you're keep her going.
I was talking about one of our aunts.
Daria.
Her brother passed away, and for years and years, and she woke up in the middle of the night and had a full conversation with him, and then realized, you're dead, and he disappeared.
I don't want to sound dramatic, but you gave me like chills on my, like I could feel it like go like down my face. I was like a shiver. That's creepy. Like not just weird in general, just weird stuff. Oh
So
my
I
God.
guess our family maybe has seen it a bit more than others.
I suppose we're receptive or whatever.
Well, they're dark instances tend to follow us around a bit.
Me and Carl were talking about in like our second episode.
We've all got the number 13 tattooed on ourselves
we
as
do.
a result.
We were talking about in our second episode. We were talking about music, and we were talking about songs that helped us through a hard time. And I was like, man, there's like a lot of tragic phases in my life. Like,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, been through some shit, but
Yeah.
all the better for it, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Carl, how do you feel? Have you changed a little? Or
Yeah.
do you think the same?
Can confirm I definitely feel different. I feel like things are going to be, I wouldn't say like my life's going to be different, but I definitely have a different view on just the world in general. And like, maybe I'm a little more like, I wonder what that really is. You know what I mean?
Just
Some
keeping
stuff like that.
an
Keep
eye
an open
open
mind.
and an ear to the ground,
I honestly like don't have words. I guess that's the thing is like you guys didn't freak me out, but it's definitely something interesting. That's for sure.
It's hard to deny things when you hear people that you know talk so vividly about it.
Yeah, like eyewitness like recollections of stuff. That's
It's easy to call bullshit on somebody you don't know.
exactly.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't freak you out. We're not scary people. Thank you again, Cameron, for coming on. This has been
Anytime.
awesome.
Yeah, this was fun. Tune in next time on Rated E for Everything.